Hello beautiful souls. So it's been a bit of a while since we last chatted, and if I remember correctly we went from the Fool to the Hermit, and I think we vaguely touched on the Wheel of Fortune. So before we carry on with our Fool's story, the hero's journey, that's usually what it's called, I just want to do a little recap in case you guys forget or like you get a bit stuck. So that's what I'm going to do here. So we have the Fool ready to embark on his journey, take a leap of faith. So yeah, oh, excuse me, sinus. Okay, and then he meets the magician, or evolves into the magician, where he gains tools and valuable insight. Okay, so let's put him over here. Okay, and then soon after he meets the magician, or evolves into the magician, depending on how you want to view that. A little bit further along his journey, he then meets the beautiful high priestess. Okay, and she's full of secrets and intuition. So she teaches him how to access his intuition and go a bit deeper within himself in order to uncover this veil of illusion. Because maybe all is not as it seems. And he learns how to uncover or embrace the feminine side of himself. And then, so he meets the high priestess. And then after meeting the high priestess, he then meets the beautiful empress. And the empress spoils him. She takes care of him, spoils him with like lavish gifts. She teaches him how to be more nurturing and creative and tap into his creative potential, and how to create, how to take care of a home, how to carry himself out in the world, and how to sway people perhaps the right way. And then our Fool meets the Emperor, which is the Empress's counterpart. So here's our Emperor here. He carries a much different energy from the Empress. Okay, so he balances her out and she balances him out. Okay, they are significantly different. I mean, if you look at them, you can actually see she's got like all this lovely sunny yellow, and he's got like this strong, fiery, passionate red and like orange tones. And then if you look at his throne, it's quite strong, rigid, and like stony. And she's got like this beautiful, plush, soft, velvety cushion as her throne, and she's like in nature, and he's kind of inside, like a corporate, why did it say corporate, like a building type of a place. Okay, so then the Fool meets her counterpart, or her husband, the Emperor, the King of Kings. And over here he learns about structure, how to rule an empire, how to command. And he evolves into this Emperor. Or maybe he marries the Empress and becomes the Emperor. Depends how you look at it, right? Oops. And then next, he meets the Hierophant, or another name for the Hierophant in some tarot decks. So like non-traditional Rider-Waite decks that you will see is the High Priest. So he meets the Hierophant, or the High Priest, and he learns about structure, religious practices, religious norms, and even the institution of marriage. And maybe the Hierophant gets him married to the Empress. And then, dun, 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 he meets the lovers. And he learns about the art of love and making choices. So Lovers is also about making choices. Or maybe this is actually him. Does look a bit like him, doesn't it? That like golden hair. And he falls in love. And he learns even more lessons. And now he is deciding to throw caution to the wind again, and he's evolving further. So here you can see when he started on his journey, he didn't have any armor on. He was naive. He was just taking a leap of faith. And over here, in the chariot, he's got a different energy. He is going out like into battle, you can see. He's leaving all the comforts of home behind. He's leaving maybe the Empress behind if he did marry the Empress, or maybe he didn't. So he's leaving the castle behind, and he's like going on this long journey, but he will be victorious if he can tame his emotions. So these symbolize emotions as well. And then if you look at these stars, they symbolize the 12 stars of the zodiac. And then I think on his, let me just see, his belt. Am I just making up things here? Okay, I think I might have gotten confused with the Empress's crown. So her crown actually, we'll be looking at that again. Like in future videos, has the 12 signs. The 12 stars symbolize the 12 signs of the zodiac. So here he is trudging forward into battle to learn more lessons, and he's on a journey. And through this journey, perhaps he has to really tap into his inner strength and gain that strength. And he meets the Lady Strength, and she teaches him how to tap into that courage, because maybe he's quite scared. I mean, we are all scared. Even going into battle, I'm sure soldiers and warriors are scared. They're human beings. Just because you're a male doesn't mean you're not scared. I mean, unless you're invincible, of course. And I'm quite sure most people aren't. But they just tap into that courage and they face the fear and do it anyways. And that's the lesson of this card. So here, he learns to tame his emotions gently, lovingly, and tap into the deep courage within him to push forward on his journey. I meant to pull out the Fool card. Here's our Fool. Oh, where's our Fool? Did he just disappear on us? He's somewhere. Oh, here's he here. So he meets the Lady Strength. And after this long journey, maybe he's tired of the battle and the war and the wounds, and maybe he's seen some things, and he decides he wants something deeper. There must be more to life. There must be something deeper. So he goes within himself and he decides to go on a deeper journey, and he seeks solitude. And he really matures spiritually, emotionally. And look, he's even got a beard here. And he finds that light within himself, and all that higher knowledge starts dawning upon him. And now he's on the peak of the mountain, that same cliff in the background here. He's now climbed it and he's at the top. And then, with that journey that he's taken on, comes the Wheel of Fortune. And here we are now. Fate comes in now. There's going to be a big change. So when you see the Wheel of Fortune, you know there's going to be a big change. Destiny is going to turn. Okay, so fortune means good things coming. Now, when you see the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes things happen not in the way we want them, but it's always good. It's always for your highest and best good. You might not see it at the time, but you will see it eventually. Okay, so another thing that I want to say with this Wheel of Fortune is that based on the actions and the decisions that you make, you determine how this wheel spins, because you can make a choice at any time. We've been given free will as human beings. Animals might not have that choice, but we have a choice. Animals generally act on impulse. Okay, some human beings act very much like animals by acting on impulse, and that's why we're here to tame those impulses, right? But we have a choice whether to act on that impulse or not, however tempting it might be. Anyways, that's a story for another day. But excuse me, with this Wheel of Fortune, what it means is that you can turn this wheel in your favor depending on the choices that you make. So what energy do you want to put out into the world? Good energy or bad energy? So this is also the card, like if you want to look at it, the card of karma, right? So what you sow, so shall you reap. I think that comes from the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. Or what you put out there is what you get tenfold. And that's very true. That is the law of karma. It's a universal law, whether you're spiritual, whether you are not. I think even science is agreeing with it nowadays. It's that law that says everything. I could be like butchering this law, but it goes something along these lines. You can Google it. Something along these lines. Everything has an equal and opposite reaction. Something like that. Something along those lines. But you get the gist of it, right? So what you put in is what you get out. It's similar to the Magician card, but with a different energy. Okay? And this card tends to appear when someone's about to go like through a major life change. It could also appear if they like gambling sometimes, or if they're going to hit the jackpot. But more likely than not, this comes up as a card of like, yes, this is destiny at hand, and things are about to flip 360 degrees. Most of the time. That's like the general story behind it. Okay, so like now he becomes a hermit, or like a sage. And now he's about to undergo this like major transformation and shift. Oh, the cards are not fitting anymore. Okay, so we'll just put that one there. And now, as I said, like this is kind of like where the wheel turns, and karma also comes into play here. So depending on all the actions that he took and whatever he did within his story so far, so starting right from the beginning, over here maybe he wouldn't get judged so badly because he was still naive. What did he do along this journey? Good things, bad things? Like, what did he do, throughout the story? That's going to determine how this wheel turns. And now he's going to get judged. Well, not judged, but like, now he's meeting Lady Justice. She's like the law and order. He's kind of going to her court now. And she's judging now. Well, she's passing judgment. So she's kind of like judgment, I would say, in the material world. And she's going to lay down that sort of truth and make her judgment. And are these scales going to balance for good or for bad, like his good deeds or his bad deeds? I'm shaking the card. Or are they going to balance evenly? So, like, I'm not sure what, like, is it going to be neutral? So that's the one aspect of the story. That's the one way you can look at it. The other part of this is, after undergoing this journey, climbing Kilimanjaro, he now has been given the divine right to pass justice, the judgment of justice on others. And this is him sitting on the throne. This is another aspect of himself where he can pass justice, because he has embarked on this journey and he has learned important soul lessons and dropped his ego a bit, not completely, just a little bit, because he hasn't yet reached the full cycle. I just want to mention a bit of numerology here. Okay, so there are 22 cards in this. Okay, but it starts from 0 to 21. So he's past now number 10. Right? So like, he's halfway through his lessons. And now he's at a major, so here he's at a major interchange. Okay, at card 10, Wheel of Fortune. Right? This is card 11. Card 11 is a very, very important number. Very important angel number. So, for me, it feels like he's getting permission now to pass that judgment in the material world because of everything he's been through and the lessons he's learned. And I feel like he becomes a mentor to those around him with all the lessons he's learned from the mentors before him and through him. And you can see there's a veil behind him as well. So, what is the truth really? He knows, and God knows, or Spirit knows. And there's the red for the passionate truth. So it's almost a bit like he's got that authority of the Emperor, but it's slightly different, because can you see there's the yellow again with the Empress. So he's learned like how to speak to people like the Empress without scaring the wits off of them, but he also commands that authority like the Emperor. Can you see that? Okay, if we look at astrology, this is also the card of Libra. And I think I mentioned Empress could also be the card of Libra, depending how you look at it. But more often than not, this is the card for Libra. And Libran energy, Libras tend to be very diplomatic. They don't like conflict. They like a balanced and fair outcome for all. They don't really like fighting. I know, because I've got Libra in my chart. I'd rather bite my tongue than upset someone. Most of the time, not all the time. What else? They tend to be good with conversation and words. And you will find them like a lot of the times in positions of court, lawyers, judges, positions where like law enforcement, police officers, forensic auditing, those kinds of fields. And they like value justice, they value truth, Integrity is extremely important to them. So that's a bit of astrology there for you. Let's put Lady Justice here. Okay, so 20 minutes. Okay. And then we have the Hanged Man. So now, okay. So let's say if he's just been visiting throughout, and if it wasn't him that became Lady Justice, and it was him getting tried by Lady Justice, okay, and like he went through a big change, like maybe karma came into play, like did he do the good thing, did he do the bad thing, and the scales didn't win in his favor, or if they did, this is like now he's the Hanged Man. Maybe he did something or maybe he didn't, and now they're hanging him from the tree because the Hanged Man doesn't sound so great, does it? It's not, and it's not a pleasant position to be in. It's like you're being stuck, you're still. So okay, wait, I'm going to look at this differently, right? So let's say he goes to visit the Hanged Man. Okay, I'm not going to say he's the Hanged Man. Okay, let's just say he's visiting, because he's visiting now. Okay, it depends how you look at it. I hope I'm not confusing you. I'm just trying to get the story as clear as possible, whichever way. So now he visits the Hanged Man. And now he sees this, maybe this is Robin Hood that stole from the poor and gave to the rich. Now, Lady Justice, she's about justice, right? She has to be fair to everyone, to both the rich and to the poor. She doesn't want to, like, behead him. But she also can't let his crimes go, like, for nothing, because she's about justice and fairness to everyone. Fair outcome for everyone. So he has to get punished a little bit. So she hangs him from the tree, okay, like from his foot downwards, and ties his hands up. But does he look like he's suffering? No, he doesn't look like he's suffering to me. He looks kind of like he's having the time of his life almost. He looks pretty relaxed. He doesn't have to do any work now. He's kind of chilled. If you look at that halo, illumination is coming to him. Illumination. Did I say illumination? Maybe that was something important for someone. I meant to say enlightenment is coming to him. He's getting enlightened. Okay? If you look at pictures of Jesus and Krishna and deities and like across all spiritual faiths, you'll see this halo or golden aura. That's like the crown chakra, the higher dimensions that like enlightenment comes. Okay? And that's what the Fool has been seeking here. Along his journey, where he meets the Hermit or becomes the Hermit. And look, yeah, the Hanged Man is getting it. So it's like he's more in a meditative position here, even though they're hanging him from the tree. We don't even know if his hands are tied up. Maybe he even untied his hands and he's just chilling there in the back like this, and he can just open his hands like that and then lift himself up and like climb on that tree and then jump off it. If I turn the card around, it's like he's just standing. It's almost like he looks like those beautiful trapeze artists that just like hang so gracefully and like twirl around. So that's the Hanged Man. And then the Fool learns about death. Not so funny. So, many moons ago, this literally meant death. Now it doesn't mean death. Okay, I do really apologize if this card is freaking you out. It does not mean death now, as in like you're gonna die or someone's gonna die. Okay, this is the night of death, or I think the Grim Reaper. Okay, so he is bringing about immense transformation about, and he's teaching the fool like immense transformation and change, and how are you going to embrace death? So the death is like out with the old, in with the new. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to handle it like this child here, like embracing it? Are you going to fall down dead like this king? Or are you going to be like this lady who can't bear to look at it? Or are you going to be like this priest here, praying for it not to happen? I would want to embrace it like this child, like, right? With this childlike innocence. And to just, because it's going to happen anyway. Like, transformation is going to come whether you like it or not. You know that saying, adapt or die? Yeah, adapt or die. It's like, for example, if you think about the technological revolution, if you didn't adapt with it, you weren't very likely to make it in this world. That's the harsh truth. Unfortunately. Like, we can all say, for example, if I think about like my mom and dad many, I shouldn't say many years ago. If my mom sees this video, she might be very upset with me. I say many years ago. She always says, I'm not that old. I'm still young at heart. They used to write letters to communicate with each other. They weren't really excited about phones coming out. I mean, they would talk on the phone to, like, it was like a big thing talking on the phone. Now, when we phone each other, we get annoyed, like, oh my God, why are you phoning me? They would write letters to each other. That was their main method of communication. Youngsters these days, I'm not sure if they even know how to write a letter, like the format of writing a letter to someone. Like how to fold the letter, put it in the envelope, how to post it. I don't even know if people still do those things. And I mean, no offense to anyone, just an example of like something. A perfect example is like how our grandparents used to walk for miles and miles and kilometers, and we have it so easy now. We can just get in the car and go. If you don't have a car, you just Uber or catch a taxi, and boom, you're gone. You don't need to wait for anyone, because and I'm so unfit, I can't even walk from A to B. They were so fit. They would walk, and they would say it's close. Like, imagine walking for 30 minutes. Oh no, so and so lives close. It's only 45 minutes walk. We complain if we have to drive for 45 minutes. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here, but just to give you an example of death. So death is not like you're gonna die or someone has died. It could be, though, in like very, very rare circumstances, but I haven't seen that in any of my readings. I have heard of other people, though, but like most readers will tell you this is not the case. So death literally means change, like fast and furious change coming. And it's always for your highest and best good. Once you go through this change, better things always come your way. I can guarantee you of that fact. And also, this is the archetype. Is it the archetype? Is it the... I don't know if it's archetype or archetype. Sometimes my English fails me. This is the astrological sign for Scorpio. So if some Scorpios sting you a bit, you can see why. It says death, yeah. Okay. Next is Temperance. How funny. Okay. So imagine you have death, and then you... Sorry, that flew out. Maybe I shouldn't have insulted death so badly. Maybe they didn't like it. Okay. So you've got death, and then you've got Temperance. So now the fool has to learn the art of patience and temperance. So literally, what does temperance mean? Tempering something. So tempering your emotions. This is like long-term patience though, right? Because if you look there, there's like this long path to the mountain, and that looks like a crown or golden light. Okay, and this is an angel. I'm not sure which angel this is, but it's one of the angels. Okay, and this angel is like balancing things out, teaching the fool how to balance his emotions out, and his mental processes. One of the other things when this card comes out is that it could symbolize addiction. A lot of the time it symbolizes an addiction to alcohol, because like if you look at the cups there. Okay, and what I want to say is, when you learn to have patience, that enlightenment comes, and that illumination of the third eye comes as well. And also, the astrological sign for this is Sagittarius. And then, I don't want you getting freaked out for the next card, okay? Please, take a deep breath in. The next card is the Devil, okay? So looking at this card is not going to summon the devil or anything like that. It's just a card, okay? So these are just... So with these cards, it's more like stories, like lessons in your life. So now the Fool sees what's happening to these two people, or this could be him. Okay, so they are chained by the devil. Okay, if you give the devil power, or the idea of the devil power, then that idea will win. So the devil could be things like mental restrictions, addictions, drugs, lust, toxic behavior, self-limiting beliefs, chaining yourself to things. Like, for example, if you look at them, don't they look like the Lovers? Let me get the Lovers card out. Where is our Lovers? So yeah, it's literally like the Lovers, but here's just replaced with the devil. They can easily free themselves from this binding. They just have to take the chain from the neck off. It's not throttling them, it's very loose. Okay, and they can move back into this energy. They have a choice. We always have a choice. Okay? So now, he's learning not to fall into temptation. Okay, so this is the card of temptation. Toxic behavior, deceit, all those types of things. Okay? Hostile environment. Because if you look at this, the devil's not actually physically touching them with his hands. He can't, because he's not of the light. But he can influence them in different ways. But they have a choice whether they allow that in or not. Can you see that? And anything that is not of the light, all you say is, by divine law, by universal divine law, go to the light, go to the light, go to the light. That's it. Done. And you don't worry. Okay. Then after that we have the Tower. Okay. So after seeing what the Lovers are going through, or meeting this devil, okay, so another thing with the devil, when the devil comes up, it means that you've got weak foundations. Okay, so now he sees that maybe some of his own foundations are weak, and that's what this devil's coming up as temptation. Maybe he falls into this temptation and he gets shackled by this. So now divine the divine force of God is actually coming through to crack those weak foundations open and to actually save him. And when this happens, it's like it's like we're falling from a dizzy height, okay, and it does not feel good. Okay, this tower is collapsing, but can you see, like, these people were trapped in this tower. There's no door here. There's no door to be free. They've been imprisoned in this tower. The only way for them to be free is with this lightning to strike it and for them to fall out of it. Okay, so there's probably like water here that they're going to fall into, and they're going to swim to the shore. It is not pleasant to go through, but they're going to be thankful that this happened. When the tower comes, it means that you have weak foundations, or there was something in your life that you did not actually subconsciously want. So a way is being made so that you can be free of that thing. So better things can come into your life. It's a very uncomfortable thing to happen though, but it happens quick. It's like a tornado. It's like a tornado that happens. Okay, so I am actually going to finish. I'm gonna finish the rest of the Major Arcana in this video, and then what I'll do is I'll put timestamps in it. Yeah, I'll put timestamps in it because we're almost done with the Major Arcana, and then we're going to move into the Minor Arcana, and then we're going to run through the rest of the system that I mentioned before. Okay, so then he meets the star, okay, and she teaches him about hope, having hope after, like, everything falls through the roof, after, like, your world collapses, your home collapses, after complete utter devastation. So that's what she teaches him. And over here it shows that, like, life is not over. You can rebuild. And this shows that, like, now he's building those foundations again, and wish fulfillment is going to happen. So look at that big star. This, if I remember from my Bible studies in primary school, is the Star of Bethlehem. I think so, yeah. I think that's the Star of Bethlehem. Okay, and she's not wearing any clothes, so she is vulnerable. She's naked, but she's trusting. She's trusting the divine consciousness, and she's trusting spirit. And if you look, there's two pictures here. So she's feeding mind, body, spirit, and she's nourishing her soul. And while she's taking from the earth, she's also giving back. Okay? So she's shifted into like a different energy. And he's learning that from her. And like, so whenever you see the feminine cards, he's learning to embrace that feminine, intuitive, loving, softer side of him. Okay? Because we need both aspects to us. We need the masculine and the feminine. You can't make it in this world with just one energy. You need both. One is not better than the other. The masculine energy will just obliterate and destroy everything. The feminine energy will just will also obliterate and destroy everything in her own way, because there will be no logic to anything she does, because she's very emotional and like caring, and she needs a bit of structure and someone to push her to do things. They balance each other out. Okay? Which is why we have both energies in us. Like for example, chemically speaking, like in our body, health-wise, doctors will tell you every human being has a bit of estrogen and testosterone in them. That's just a basic example. of masculine and feminine energy. Some people have more of one thing, others don't, and that's perfect for them. That's how they were divinely made. That's how they were perfectly made, to like carry out their divine purpose in this world. Okay, and now, although he's learned to hope again, and some of his wishes have come true, he's still carrying a bit of that tower energy and that devil energy. So he has to go a bit more on the journey, okay, in order to face his emotions and unconscious fears and subconscious mind. So that's what the moon is about. So he meets the beautiful moon. Okay, and this I think is also associated with Venus energy. So that's the moon. Let's just bring it a bit into focus there. Okay. I'm so sorry if my voice sounds a bit croaky. I've been talking a lot today. I did quite a few readings, so my voice is a little bit croaky. And then, after facing all his emotions and subconscious fears and doing all that healing and digging deep, he meets the sun. Da, 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 da. And now he gains absolute joy, fulfillment, and he reclaims his inner child, that childlike happiness. Okay? So what I want to say with the moon is that this also has a zodiac sign attached to it, and the zodiac sign for the moon could be either Pisces, could be Cancer, so Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, with this crayfish here. Okay, and then I forgot to mention with the star sign or the astrological sign associated with this, because of like the lady with the picture of water, this is Aquarius. That's the moon, the sun, and then the sun. Okay, so this is also Leo energy. Strength is also Leo energy. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So these are both star signs for Leo energy. But I will be, if I forgot anything here, I will mention it further when I go more into like the types of standard meanings in the tarot and like proper symbolism and imagery and that sort of thing. Okay, and now we've got 2 more cards left. Okay, so Judgment. So this is similar to Justice, but this is like judgment in all the realms, like in all the 3 realms or 5 realms or 5 realms, in all the 3 realms. Okay, so on earth, in heaven, and the lower world. Okay, so how did you behave in this world? What did you do for others? How did you behave to others? Your actions, your deeds, your words, everything. What was your thinking like? Or did you do things for people and then secretly think, I shouldn't have done that for you? Like, did you regret it? Did you think bad thoughts? Did you think bad thoughts of yourself even? Did you treat yourself well enough the same way you treated others? Because sometimes, you know, we don't always do that. Like, I don't know if that made sense there. So this is Judgment. So so now he meets Judgment, and I think this is Angel Gabriel. I could be wrong about the angel here, but this is one of the angels, and I think it's Angel Gabriel. Okay, so he meets Angel Gabriel, and now he sees that these people are being woken up from their graves, and their souls are being called forward for judgment. So he's waking them up to be judged, I think, by God or a higher source. But they don't look very afraid, hey? They look like they're ready for this, because it seems to me that they've lived a good life, they've done good things, and they've lived their authentic purpose. Okay? So, another thing I want to say with Judgment is, when this card appears, sometimes it means that, like, your soul, it's like a card for your soul calling you. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm not sure which other way to say it, but in a spread or in a reading, that tends to type with something. So say now you want to know about your life purpose, or a love reading, or someone's like your soulmate or something, or if you're meant to be in a relationship, or if you're meant to be doing something at that certain point, then this card comes up. You know, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. This is part of destiny. Okay? So that's Judgment. And then the final card in the Major Arcana. So the Fool's come to the end of his journey. Okay? And he's faced Judgment. Is this heaven? I'm not sure if it's heaven. But he's reached the full cycle now of all the lessons. Okay? And now the world is literally at his feet. Well, at his feet, like around him, however you want to describe that. Okay? He's learned all the lessons. These are the 4 main pillars of the zodiac. So, there's, the 4 elements, the 4 main star signs. I'm not sure which one represents which. I don't want to mess them up right now, but I will do more research on that for you. So, there is the element of fire, air, earth and water. So, those the horoscopes that fall into that. Okay? And over here, it's like it ties in with that Wheel of Fortune card. Where is my Wheel of Fortune? Here we are. Like over here, he was learning, right? Can you see over here there's no books? It's because he's learned everything. He's mastered all the lessons now. Now he knows everything. So that's what this is. And like now he's reached the full cycle. He's at the end now. Okay. And after this, where do we start again? We start at 0. So the Fool has reached the end of his journey. And that's or what you call the hero's journey. So that's that, beautiful souls. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. If something didn't make sense, please ask me so I can clarify. If I need to make another video, like going a bit deeper into the story or refining some points, I'll do that. As I said before, make notes, journal, look at each card, make your own meanings of it, make your own stories up. That will really help you. Okay, bye for now. Take care.